So, chapter 117. It's out. I'm reading it. I've already read the chapter, so this isn't like a reaction video or anything. This is more of a kind of review and analysis of it, kind of looking into it. I've only read it like once or twice, so I'm definitely still going to probably be noticing new details. Yeah, let's just get right into it. So, first of all, we see a loud noise, presumably an explosion from when Eren transforms. And just, yeah, all the characters, Mikasa, Armin, Connie, Jean, Niccolo, and then Sasha's family with the mother who looks strangely like Mrs. Tiber, looking up at the commotion. It started the Titans. See, I wonder what Armin's thinking here. Because when he says it started the Titans, does he think that the Titans are fighting, like Eren and other Titans are fighting? Or does he think that the humans have been turned into Titans? Is that what he thinks is happening right now? Because then the next shot immediately cuts to the people who would become Titans. So is it like Armin thinks the people have been turned to Titans, and then immediately cuts to show like, no, he's wrong. They're still okay. Is that what's going on? I don't know. I know it's a bit too vague. Are moving. The Titans are moving. Oh. So maybe they think the rumbling's happening. Maybe that's what they think. That the rumblings happened, the Titans are moving. It's kind of vague what he's saying. I mean, the Titans are moving could mean a lot of things, but it seems the most likely option is that he thinks the rumbling has started. Which is very dangerous, because even though the rumbling hasn't started, the fact that he thinks the rumbling has started could mean he goes to some desperate measures, which could be very dangerous. Like if Armin just nukes the whole area or something in hopes of maybe wiping a couple of them out or something like that. You know, because obviously the rumbling hasn't started. But like I said, if he thinks it's started, then he could do some pretty desperate things to try and stop it before he realizes it's not actually going on. Also, interesting thing to know, so I didn't realize before. Well, actually, no, I did realize before, but I didn't bring it up. Pyxis. Oh, also, thank you very much for all the people who translated this, all the typesetters. You do a very good job, and we all very much appreciate it. But I'm sure you've been thanked a bunch of times by now. Yeah, Pyxis, he doesn't seem surprised or shocked at all. I think he looks concerned. It's kind of difficult to tell at this angle. But honestly, he just looks kind of calm. Which, to me, signifies one of two things. Either, and this is the most likely one, this is something that he's realised is going to happen for a while now. And so now that it's happening, he's just like, yep, it's happening. I knew this was going to happen. And he's not really shocked by it. Or alternatively, the second thing, which I don't think is the case, but it would be really interesting if it is, Pyxis knows more than he's letting on. Like in chapter 113, he said when Zeke screamed and transformed a bunch of people into Titans and then they all felt like the electric shock through them, Pyxis said something along the lines of, so you've done it, Zeke. As if he kind of already knew what was going to happen. Which despite there being no indication of him, or anyone for that matter, previously knowing about the poisoned wine, I don't think. Except for a handful of people who were at Sasha's party, that is. Sasha's, like, not Sasha's party. Sasha's family's party. I'm going to have to reread the last few chapters because some of the sequence of events are confusing me a little bit. But just because I haven't read it in a while. But yeah, that would be interesting if Pyxis does actually know more than he's letting on. But that's unlikely. But it's still interesting to think about. Chapter 17, Conviction, which is a nice overall name for everyone involved in this. Now, I've seen a lot of people, especially on Reddit, taking sides, and a lot of people as well, and in this chapter have been basically denouncing the whole "there are no bad guys" idea, saying, well, Marley is obviously the bad guys. And I think that's just horrifically incorrect, but we'll get into that later. I do think there are no bad guys, at least in this situation that we're looking at. No one in the Shiganshina area right now is a bad guy, and I'll get into more detail on that later. And remember, I haven't read like the more recent sort of 10 or 15 chapters before this in a while, so I will have to reread it, but I still have a vague idea of what's going on. Probably a little, yeah, I still remember what's going on. It's just not as sharp as it might be with other points in time. Yeah, we see paratroopers dropping, and then they drop Pieck's insanely huge gun just from the sky. Which, that thing must be tough if they're just dropping it from the sky like that. I mean, it does have a parachute, but still. And I like this little detail. Pieck decides to escape because she sees the gun being dropped. Look at her eyes there, she's looking at it. And also, another great thing about Pieck, you should always watch Pieck's eyes and where she's looking. That's important with her character. Where she's looking signifies what she's thinking. Like, for example, when in the festival battle, when Porco and Pieck get trapped in that underground like tunnel thing, right? When they actually get dropped, Porco's looking below and like, oh my god, we're falling. But Pieck is looking straight at Yelena. And by that, she's kind of thinking like, and up to that point, you've seen Pieck kind of probing the soldier and trying to figure out who it is. So you can see maybe she's figured it out because she's staring straight at them, or maybe she's just trying to figure it out. She does later go on to say that she liked the goatee. You know, when she next sees Yelena, she said, "Oh, did you shave your beard? I thought it looked good on you." And since she hadn't met Yelena since that point, since being dropped down into the hole, there's no reason to believe she would have been told, "Oh, by the way, the person who dropped you into the hole was Yelena." You know, at least it didn't happen on screen, so that might be the moment she realised. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Point is, always follow Pieck's eyes, because wherever she's looking tells you what she's thinking. And right now she's thinking, that's my gun, I need to escape and weaponize so I can blast Eren's head off. And then immediately Pieck calls to have the chain cut, and Porco just cuts off her hand, which I wonder if that's what she actually wanted to happen. Judging by her reaction, it might not be. But also, how goddamn sharp are Porco's nails to be able to do that? Like, seriously. I mean, I always knew Porco's nails were sharp, right? But I always assumed it's like sharp by a Titan's standards, you know, where it's a super giant thing where if you're using it to fight another giant, it'll be really sharp for them. But if you put it down to like a human level, it'll be kind of blunt, right? And it only seems sharp because of the size of things it's being stabbed into, right? But no, Porco's nails are ridiculously razor sharp, even on like a human level, which is mental. But anyway, yeah, and Pieck jumps down. No, I guess she kind of just stumbles off, I guess, and transforms. I mean, I didn't notice this first time watching. She actually transforms immediately, and Gabby's looking over the edge at her. And of course, Porco, being a smart boy, because he is, immediately jumps over to this pillar to distract Eren from what's going on. He draws his attention away. And one of the main things I'm going to be doing in this review is defending Porco and Reiner very heavily. Because, and Marleyan as well. Not necessarily because I'm on their side, but because I've seen so much sentiment against them in the discussion of this chapter that I want to kind of level the playing field a bit, if that makes sense, and defend them a bit from the haters. But yeah, Porco immediately jumps over here to draw Eren's attention away from Pieck and Gabby to give them time to escape. And Eren goes to punch him in the eyes. I love the way Porco's hair here is used to signify his motion. So here his hair is behind him and his face is forward. And then we see Eren's punch moving towards him, and Porco's hair is moved in front of his face, which shows without any motion lines or anything like that that Porco is moving his head backwards to avoid the punch, which I really like. It's not like groundbreaking or anything like that, but it's just a nice little touch, you know, that it's nice. And yeah, and then Porco just leaps away, and Pieck sticks a little head over the side like a beagle or something, and yeah, Gabby gets bored, and Pieck runs off. And then we get the first internal monologue from Eren, I believe, since he had an internal monologue, I think, at around chapter 101, right, where he was thinking about the Warhammer Titan's powers. I think we got an internal monologue about that. So this very well might be the first time we've seen an internal monologue from Eren in about 15 or so chapters, which, with it being one chapter a month, that's over a year. That's like a year and a half since we've had Eren's last internal monologue. But yeah, he's thinking, why could it be that Marley has come for an ambush that puts their lives at risk? Those bastards would not be committing to this danger with just the info they have. which is in general, I'm not sure what to make of this. This is an unofficial translation. So take every single line of dialogue with a line of salt, you know? A line of salt. A grain of salt, not a line of salt. What is this? Goddamn supernatural. With a grain of salt. Because unofficial translations can sometimes be inaccurate, obviously. And especially when it comes to important dialogue like this, even one sentence being translated slightly off can completely change the meaning of it. Like Zeke's line in chapter 114 being mistranslated from what it should be, which is, I didn't steal their lives, I saved the lives of the children they would have given birth to, and changing that to, I saved them, just save them without save them, basically changing the implication from killing them saved the lives of their descendants from being born to killing them saved them from having to suffer anymore, which are two different things, and they mean different things and have two very different implications on Zeke's motives. Anyway, carrying on. And this is another interesting thing. Eren, can you hear me? Yelena yells for Eren to go back into human form, and use the Warhammer Titan power to go into the building and use the Warhammer Titan power to escape underground, which he could do. And I think, here's the thing: if we were looking at this situation objectively, like, if we were looking at this from an outside perspective, like, all right, Marley is attacking Shiganshina. Eren cannot take on Marley on his own. He can't do that. That's impossible. And we see later on in this chapter, he can't even take on Reiner and Pieck on his own, which are just two of Marley's forces, right? I mean, he can take them on, but it's not... We'll get into that later. But objectively speaking, the best thing for him to do here would probably be to escape underground, like Yelena says, unless he has some plan in mind that we're not aware of. And what interests me is he jumped down, right? And immediately, come on, Reiner. So I think, because he's having this internal monologue here saying, why have they come for this ambush? Could it be that these bastards they wouldn't attack with the info they have? So basically my perspective is, he is wondering, they wouldn't do this unless they had more information than I'm aware of. Which means they must have gotten more information. And then upon seeing Reiner, he thinks, oh, that's why. So he thinks, alright, I need to kill Reiner. I think that's why he does this. I think he realizes here that Marley must know more than the Jaegerists realize, and then he realizes here it must be because of Reiner. So the first thing I need to do before anything else is eliminate Reiner. I think that's what he's thinking here. Yeah, then he walks off, and I love this greeting from Reiner. It's like, yeah, remember me? Like, remember that thing you did to me in Marley where you cut your hand? Well, I'm doing the same thing now. It's just one panel, one little subtle movement, but I really like the implications of it. Like, it's almost like you thought I was dead? You thought, bitch, I'm back. Like, raising his hand as a greeting and a threat at the same time. It's just cool. And then Reiner transforms. Is it you, the one who pushed Marley to commit this idiotic act? And it is, because he wants to save the children. Then we get the showdown. Mobilize all the soldiers. Hurry, protect Eren. Eren, why? So Yelena's asking for them to mobilize the soldiers. You know, nothing to explain that. And then we get this cool shot. Reiner walking out the mist. And then we get the same shot as we always get when Reiner does anything, which is a shot of him walking out of something, whether that be fire or steam, or I guess just the background. And then a close-up shot on the left side of one half of his face, or sometimes his whole face, but just a close-up shot. It's the same shots every single time, whatever. And then a reverse of their battle in Shiganshina. Eren is the one who charges. And this is interesting because the thing about this fight, right, is I'd say about half of the fight happens off-screen. And so, in order to try and understand what happens off-screen, you kind of have to look at where everyone is in relation to each other right now. So looking at it now, Eren is charging at Reiner. So Eren is going on the offensive and Reiner's basically preparing for a battle. And then, boom, there's an explosion in the background. So presumably they clashed, right? And it knocked down one of the pillars. Reiner, Gabby's concerned about Reiner. He came to save us. Oh, it's so heartwarming. I know a lot of people really hate Gabby, and I don't really... I understand the pain of having one of your favourite characters killed, and then having the person who killed them replace them as one of the main characters. I understand that it must really suck. But like, I just can't bring myself to hate Gabby because I understand where she's coming from now. She's suffered a lot, and she doesn't understand why it's happened. Right? She's not privy to that information, so of course she's just going to be recklessly angry. You know, she doesn't understand why Liberia was attacked and destroyed. So of course she doesn't have that much sympathy for the enemy. But anyway, continuing on, it just kind of warms my heart to see her, like, yeah, my Uncle Reiner, I forgot what she referred to him as, but relative, right? A member of her family has come to save them. That's just so nice. Pieck over here, yep, they call her. And this whole section is actually really interesting, and it's the thing that makes me question whether I'm actually rooting against Marley or not. But yeah, Pieck drops Gabby. Magath picks Gabby up and gives her a hug. Gabby, oh, General Magath, and see, look at him, he's so concerned. He genuinely is concerned for her safety, which is just really nice, and that's also important. Brown, you imbecile, who ordered you to run into enemy territory? Just acting as you please. Yeah, he's like a parent. He's like a scared parent, you know, happy that she's back and then immediately scolding her for doing something dangerous that put her in a dangerous situation. Gabby, and it's Colt's first line in literally years at this point, I think. Yeah. Asks where Colt is. He's inside the building. He ingested Zeke's spinal fluid. He's in prison there. And, oh, poor Colt. He spent so long searching for his brother, and now he's basically found out, that his brother's doomed because he's ingested Zeke's spinal fluid. That sucks. And then we see Pieck actually equipping her own gear, which is pretty cool. Now, here's something that does worry me, right? Falco is being imprisoned with 300 enemy soldiers who also drank the spinal fluid. Generally speaking, it's weird that they would... Like, I guess it makes sense. Okay, let me explain my thought process. It's weird that they would tell us the exact amount of enemy soldiers, right? It's weird. The reasons I can think of this is, one, it's just as simple as, you know, Pieck's informing her general, her captain, and so she's giving him specific numbers so he knows exactly what's going on. But generally speaking, in the past, when they've given exact numbers, like, oh, there are 30 people guarding Zeke with Levi, it's generally because it's giving us an idea of how many Titans there's going to be when those people transform, you know? So in this case, if Zeke transforms, and there's going to be 300 Titans walking around Shiganshina, potentially. Or, like I said, it could just be that she's telling Magath, hey, this is the situation, this is exactly how many people we're dealing with here, and it doesn't go any deeper than that. Which I hope is the case, because I don't want Falco to be turned into a Titan, because he's a good lad. And I don't want Niall and Pyxis to be turned into Titans either. Aside from them, there are currently founding soldiers here. It also appears that Zeke isn't here yet. Yep. What's the possibility of the enemy using the founding Titan power? And this is another reason why I don't hate Marley right now. Because remember Willie Tyber's speech back in chapter 100, right? Willie Tyber's speech was essentially, the reason we had 100 years of peace is because King Fritz was actually a good guy who ended Eldian oppression of the rest of the world and retreated to the island and basically created peace for 100 years. And in the last few years, after we attacked the island, like years later, a rebellion happened on the island and overthrew their government, and now a new person has taken the power who wants to use it to destroy the world, basically, and that's Eren Yeager. Now we know that's hopefully not Eren's actual motivation, right? But basically Marley at this point believes that Eren's goal is to destroy the world using the founding Titan's power, right? And so people may say, oh, it's so annoying that Marley views themselves as the heroes here after everything they've done. Like, I get what you're saying, and I realise that Marley were in the wrong when they attacked Paradise. I agree with that. But at this point, they're in a situation where the fate of the entire world is at stake. And so, despite their past actions, I can't hate them when they're trying to save the world. You get what I mean? I'm not ignoring the stuff they've done in the past. But, one, this isn't the same Marley, because the people who were responsible for that attack are literally all dead now and have been replaced by Magath, who is a much more kind person than they were. And two, their current objective is to save the world from the founder. They don't know Eren's true motivations. All they know is that Willie Tyber, who has more knowledge than anyone else living other than maybe Eren, and seemingly had spies who were keeping track of what's going on the island. He told everyone that the Founding Titan wants to destroy the world, right? That Eren's goal is to bring back the Eldian Empire and to enslave humanity and all that. So I can't hate Marley here, because they're fighting ultimately for the good of humanity and for the saving the world, right? And while I do think that Eren's goals are not that, I think Eren does have heroic goals, at least hopefully he does. I can't blame Marley for not knowing that. I mean, the fans who have basically an omnipotent view of everything going on, even they don't fully understand what Eren's goals are, right? So how can I blame Marley for not understanding, right? But anyway, but it seems like and here they figure out that Zeke is a Titan of royal blood, and that if Zeke comes into contact with Eren, then that's it. And so from their point of view, if Zeke comes into contact with Eren, the world is doomed. Remember, that's what they believe Eren is trying to do. So if from their perspective, if Zeke comes into contact with Eren, Eren will use the Founding Titan to activate the rumbling, and then that's it. Humanity is destroyed. World is over. So I can't be angry at them. I can understand why some people would be annoyed at them, like, oh, they did all this stuff, they attacked Paradise and they started this, and now they're acting like the heroes. But like, remember that given the context and the fact that no one knows what Eren's true intentions are, I can't blame them for thinking that they're the heroes in this situation, because like, not even the fans know what Eren is planning, you know? And they have every reason to believe that Eren wants to destroy the world. I mean, even Eren straight up told Reiner back in their meeting, yeah, I'm the bad guy, I could destroy the whole world. He straight up says that. And when the man himself says, yeah, Willie's right, I'm the bad guy, like, it's kind of difficult to refute it. It's kind of difficult for them to sit down and go, well, what are his goals, actually? What if he's not as bad as we think? When he straight up said, no, yeah, Willie's right, I'm as bad as you think. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not saying those are Eren's goals, but what I'm saying is it's 100% reasonable for them to believe they're Eren's goals when Eren himself said they're his goals to Reiner, right? Even if he was lying or exaggerating or just holding back some of the truth. Anyway, and then we see more explosions going on in the background. So the fight between Reiner and Eren is still going on in the background. Magath says, Marley's shield isn't that soft. No, he isn't the shield protecting Marley. Right now, the whole fate of the world, the whole fate of the world is resting on our shoulders. We're not going to kill the Founding Titan and postpone solving the problem. We're going to eat the Founding Titan here and put a stop to the 100 years of hatred. And this is what kind of makes me root for Marley, I'll be honest. Like, yes, the old Marley was this horrible, evil group of people who wanted to rule the world via force and attacked the island of Paradise unprovoked. But everyone responsible for that attack, the government of Mali, the people who made the fake letters and initiated the attack for the sake of gaining resources, all of those people are dead. And I don't see the reason to hate Marley because of something that they did when they were ruled by completely different people, right? It's like the people responsible for that attack, the people responsible for all the things, the reasons like, Marley isn't a monolith, right? Marley is an area, right? It's an area which is ruled by a group of people, right? Marley isn't some entity. It's an area. It's a place, right? It doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have a set rules or set goals. It is a place. And when Marley were the bad guys who attacked Paradise, it was ruled by uncaring people who hated Eldians, thought they was the scum of the earth, right? Those people are dead. They're all dead. Eren killed them all in the Paradise, in the festival attack, and now it's ruled by Magath, someone who does care about Eldians. We saw back in chapter 99 that when Willie revealed that his plan involved getting the people of the Eldians of Liberio killed, Magath was like, whoa there, buckaroo. Loads of Eldians are going to be killed. So even back then he was concerned about Eldian lives. he's always been concerned about Eldians. He also wanted to have Marleyans fight alongside Eldians in the army because he believes that would help them see eye to eye and help them, move past their discrimination against each other. And now we see he genuinely cares for Gabby, who previously he viewed as nothing more than an Eldian devil. Now he genuinely seems to care about her as like a parent would. This is the man controlling Marley now. Marley is a place. It's not like an idea. It's not just some monolith. It's a place. And the evil Marley we knew is gone. The Marley that attacked Paradise, that started this war, is gone. It's dead. It was destroyed back in chapter 100 and 101. This new Marley is ruled by someone who wants to end the oppression of Eldians, right? He wants to save the world from the Founding Titan who he believes is aiming to destroy humanity. And he wants to end the oppression of Eldians. And on top of that, he rules the most powerful nation in the world. So he has the power to do this, right? If he sets his mind to it. The nation of Marley is powerful enough to go through with this. And we already saw back in chapter 100, I think it was, that when Willie, 99 or 102, when Willie was talking about how the Eldians aren't actually that bad and how King Fritz was the one who saved people from the Eldian Empire, the people in the crowd started saying things like, well, if this is true, what do we make of our hatred for Eldians over the past 100 years, or whatever it was they said, right? People were questioning it. People were beginning to question it. People aren't unreasonable, right? The reason people hate Eldians, like Armin said, is because they don't know Eldians. They hear about Eldians in like stories told about the evil empire of the past and how Eldians are monsters who want to take over the world. They don't know Eldians. They don't speak to Eldians. The only Eldians most of them have met are Willie Tyber, who is adored by everyone. And when Willie Tyber started explaining actually the Eldians aren't that bad, people were like, oh, is that really true? In which case, what do we make of all the hate we've had for them all this time? So as long as I'm not completely misinterpreting what Magath's saying here, which I'm pretty sure he's not, he wants to take the Founding Titan. Basically, he doesn't want to wipe out Eldians, right? He doesn't think that Eldians deserve to be wiped out and the Titans deserve to be wiped out. He's like, we're going to take the Founding Titan for ourselves, and we're going to stop the oppression of Eldians, and we're going to allow Eldians and the rest of humanity to coincide, right? That seems to be Magath's goal, which lines up with his character. And he's in control of Marley, meaning that's now Marley's goal, by extension. Yes, Marley of the past was an evil, horrible place, filled with racism and discrimination, and was undoubtedly the bad guys, right? There was no doubt about it. This isn't the same Marley. Marley is just a location. And the reason Marley were the bad guys is because it was a location that happened to be ruled by bad people. And now those bad people are all gone and replaced by a really good guy who wants to better the world. So I can't help myself. I can't help but find myself rooting for Marley in this situation, because I think if they win, there's a very good chance that they could. Is that Pieck last chapter said that she didn't trust Marley, right? She said that she didn't trust Marley, and that even if they succeed in this mission, it won't stop the world from hating them, right? But here's the thing, that could just be... No, because then she confirms it later on in the chapter. But yeah, the thing about that is that she also says, I do want to free Eldians. I don't trust Marley. I do want to free Eldians, but I have faith in my comrades, the people I fought alongside, which would naturally include Magath, right? I mean, they're literally fighting alongside, and they always have, as far as I'm aware. So it could be interpreted in a few ways, but my way of interpreting it is that she trusts Magath. She trusts the people she's worked alongside, and that they, together with Magath, who rules Mali, will be able to end the Eldian oppression. But yeah, as of right now, that's my thought process on this. That's what I think. If you disagree, that's fine. That's your opinion. If you want to tell me about how you disagree, that's fine as well. But just be reasonable about it. Don't call me an evil monster for not hating Marley completely. Try to understand where I'm coming from, if you at least if you disagree with me. But yeah, I can't bring myself to root against Marley, because they genuinely just seem like the good guys in this situation. They seem like they're moving towards doing the right thing, and I support that. Anyway, and then we cut back to the battle with Reiner and Eren. Now, as I've established, this battle's been going on for a while now in the background, right? This battle's been going on for at least a couple minutes now, and surprisingly enough, Reiner's now on the offensive. We saw when we cut away that Eren had gone on the offensive and was attacking Reiner when they clashed, but now, as you can see with this panel, Reiner is on the offensive, and he's also pushing Eren back a lot. Look at this smoke, right? The destruction. Eren's been pushed back all the way down this street, and is currently on the defensive with Reiner moving towards him. I think that Reiner has done... And look, and the thing about Reiner is whenever he gets injured, his armor shatters. When it comes to fighting Eren, that is. And none of his armor shattered. That means he's uninjured now. So Reiner, up till this point in the fight, has actually been doing really well. He's been pushing Eren back, putting him on the defensive, doing a solid job of fighting Eren. Even if he hasn't gotten any hits off on Eren, right? Even if neither of them have gotten any solid hits off yet, the fact that Reiner is able to get this far, pushing Eren back, putting him on the defensive, and hasn't taken any hits so far, is impressive by itself. And then, boom, Eren lands a solid hit to the side of Reiner's head. Reiner's head flips off to the side, but immediately balls his fist to go for a second one. But Eren's Titan is faster and more agile, and he gets the hit in instead. Reiner staggers, and Eren goes for a third hit, but I believe for the first time ever, Reiner actually composes himself and dodges the hit and tackles Eren and slams him into the building. He goes to continue his attack, but Eren kicks him in the face and kicks him away. And that's the end of their one-on-one. So I know the common consensus is that Reiner got his ass handed to him in this fight, but I just don't see it personally. I think this was a pretty evenly matched fight. You know, we see from this first bit that during the fight that we didn't get to see, the first half of the fight, Reiner is on the offensive and is uninjured and has been able to push Eren back, despite Eren being the one who went on the offensive to start with, right? Which means that he's done pretty well up to now. Then Eren lands 2 solid hits, the second one only being due to his increased agility of his Titan, right? But Reiner stays up, he doesn't fall over, he doesn't topple, he remains stood. He composes himself, dodges Eren's third punch, and tackles him, throws him straight into a building, and gets kicked away. I'd say that, judging by what we've seen so far, this is a pretty evenly matched fight, right? And also, respect to Reiner, he's fighting someone who he's already never been able to defeat, right? And on top of that, the person he's never been able to defeat is now also more powerful than ever, in possession of the Warhammer Titan. But look at him, he gets thwacked twice in the face, he stays strong. He doesn't try to block the third attack out of a fear of being hit. He mans up, he dodges the strike, he keeps pushing forward even when he's getting hit. Respect to Reiner, man. Respect to Reiner. I know it's a meme to make up jokes about him and how he's useless in combat and all that, but honestly, I think he does really well in this fight, considering who he's up against. And then Porco comes in from behind. Eren, boom, shoots spikes out of his back, but Porco pretty easily avoids it and slices the spikes off of his back. I'll make you pay for trampling on my town, for turning me into a nutcracker, and for killing the Warhammer Titan, for making me kill the Warhammer Titan. Yeah. Then Reiner grabs Eren's face and says, "Eren, you're no threat by yourself." And a lot of people have interpreted this as Reiner being overly cocky, but I don't think that's ever been in Reiner's character. Reiner's never been the character to overestimate his own abilities. Look in the RTS arc, for example, the episode that happened very recently. Reiner's straight up like, yeah, I knew it. I knew I wouldn't be able to bite Eren out of the nape on my own. And the way he phrases it makes it sound like it's something he's been worried about, you know, since before the battle even started, that he wasn't strong enough to take Eren down on his own, right? Say what you want about Reiner, he's not overconfident in his own abilities. He's always recognized when he's outmatched, when he's not going to win. You know, he's never been cocky about his abilities, right? He's sometimes overestimated other people's abilities, like the Beast Titan, but he's never overestimated his own abilities. He's always been pretty, you know, realistic about himself. So I think that Reiner means it when he says this, that Eren's no threat by himself. I mean, we already saw that when Reiner was fighting Eren on his own, Reiner was putting up a pretty good fight and was able to be on the offensive by the looks of it for the majority of the fight, with Eren on the defensive. And then when Porco came in, Eren tried using his Warhammer powers, but they couldn't do anything. Porco was just too fast. So I think against just one of them, against Eren versus Reiner on his own, or Eren versus Porco on his own, Eren would still have his hands full. He would struggle, right, as we've seen. You know, in fact, against just Porco, I'm confident that Eren wouldn't be able to win, right? A lot of people make fun of Porco, but Porco... Eren's never even landed a hit on Porco until the very end of this chapter. And Porco has continuously displayed his ability to avoid everything that Eren throws at him, right? He's just too fast. I think against Porco on his own, Eren would lose, even with the Warhammer Titan. And then against Reiner on his own, I think Eren would probably win once he starts using the Warhammer Titan. But it would not be an easy fight, as we've seen earlier this chapter, right? And then Reiner grabs Eren. Eren tries to get Reiner off of him, but he's not strong enough, right? And then Porco goes to bite Eren out of the nape. And we see, look at this. This is not calm, composed Eren that we've been used to for the past 10 or so chapters. This is angry, desperate Eren. And look at this, he throws spikes up in every direction. And how many make contact? 1, 2, 3. 3 of these spikes make contact. What's this one doing? What are these ones over here? What's this one doing? There are so many spikes that not only miss, but miss by a ridiculously large margin. That's like almost comical in how far. Like, look at this one. This one is literally like 20, 30 meters in the wrong direction. I think that's a spike. It looks like it is. Like, there are so many that miss just completely, despite the fact that Eren can see and knows exactly where both of them are. Oh, is that Eren? I think that's Eren. Yeah, it is Eren, I think. Yeah, that is Eren. So, why am I mentioning this? Because I think Eren got desperate there. I mean, we already know from the Warhammer Titan's first fight and the rest of this fight that producing weapons and spikes and stuff with the Warhammer Titan takes up a lot of energy. And Eren wastes so much energy producing literally like dozens of spikes that not only miss, but aren't even close to hitting. Like this one here at the bottom left side of the screen. Or these ones over here that completely miss by a huge margin, right? They're nowhere near hitting their target. And the reason for that is, I think that Eren here, he was desperate. I think that if it wasn't for the Warhammer Titan powers, Eren would have been eaten here. I think Reiner is right. I think that Eren isn't a threat by himself. Reiner on his own was able to put up a good fight against Eren, and then Porco came in and completely blitzed through all of Eren's defences. Reiner grabbed him, Porco was about to eat him, Eren resorted to wasting a bunch of energy throwing up spikes in every direction in the hope of getting them off of him, even if he wasted a bunch of energy in doing it. I think Eren had lost. I think Eren the Attack Titan lost. I think he lost the fight, and so he became Eren the Warhammer Titan, if that makes sense. I don't mean literally he changed Titan. I mean in the sense of he went from the Eren that we'd known before, you know, with the Attack Titan fighting with hand-to-hand combat, and he was like, okay, I can't win using this. I need to resort to using the Warhammer Titan power now. So Eren the Attack Titan lost this fight against Reiner and Porco, and he had to resort to using his Warhammer Titan. So now it's Eren the Warhammer Titan fighting. Okay, so Porco and Reiner are skewered. Eren stands up in the mist, looking up at them with these creepy white eyes. Strike now, take care of the Jaw and Armor Titan. So we see Jaegerists coming up with the Thunder Spears, right? Flying towards them. Those bastards will really like this. Feed them the Thunder Spears, right? They're heading towards it and... Pew! Pew! Eren gets shot straight through the head, which is... just looks brutal. He gets shot straight through the head by best girl Pieck. And, yeah, Yelena, Onyonkapon, and random dude. Eren gets shot straight through the head. And at this point, the fight is over, right? Eren already lost using just hand-to-hand combat. So, he can't win by using hand-to-hand combat. That's already been established, right? He would have died if he didn't resort to using the Warhammer Titan's powers. And now he can't even move properly because he's been shot through the head and his brains have been scattered across the ground, right? By Pieck. So at this point, Eren had already lost the fight and kind of had to resort to really energy-absorbing powers, energy-wasting powers. Yeah, at this point in the fight, Eren has lost. It's just kind of a matter of time. It's just a matter of waiting. And look at that hole. It's difficult to see because Eren's hair is black. But look, that looks like a massive hole in the side of his head, which is just brutal. But yeah, load the next round quickly. Yes, sir. And there we go. You see Pieck stating it. Oh, it might be Magath. No, it is Pieck. Pieck, how you pronounce it. The Titan's brain got blown out and its motor abilities are sharply declined. That's interesting in regards to how Titan shifters work, because it means that the movement of a Titan shifter is a combination of the human brain and... No, actually, no. Yeah. It uses the Titan's brain for movement, right? Which means that the human brain who's giving the orders has to be connected to the Titan's brain, right? That means that basically a Titan shifter is a combination of a human brain and a Titan brain. And I guess by extension, a human nervous system and a Titan nervous system. We've already seen that with Reiner being able to survive getting his head blown off. In the Return to Genshin Impact, he was able to survive because he used the Titan's brain, which is further enforced that that's how it works here, because Eren got his Titan head blown off, and it completely just wrecked his ability to move with his Titan, right? And you might be thinking, oh, well, it's the Titan's brain that's moving the Titan, why does that matter? Well, it means that it's not like a mech suit, right? It's not like a mech suit where the human is just doing things in the Titan and it's making the Titan perform the same actions, right? It means that it's the Titan's brain that's controlling the actions still. It's the Titan's brain that's controlling the Titan's body, which means that in order for the human to be controlling the Titan, their brain has to be connected and controlling the Titan's brain directly, which means that maybe their consciousness is directly linked to the Titan, right? Which would go on to help explain how Reiner was able to shift his consciousness about in the Return to Genshin arc, if shifters are capable of shifting their consciousness about like that. Anyway, and the Commander-in-Chief. To think that the best hunter here is the Supreme Commander, the Marleyan army has also fallen to quite a low point. So it's also been established right here. Marleyan army has fallen quite a bit in terms of strength due to that surprise attack. Here we see Reiner and Porco breaking off the spikes pretty quickly. Yep. Down the Jordan Armor Titans are moving again. Yep. Before the Jaegerists are even able to get close to them, they're breaking free. And then they start getting shot. It's the enemy. Boom, 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 boom. Jaegerists are getting mowed down by the Marleyan troops. And then they're getting shot from the sky by the airships with machine guns attached, which is just brutal. You can just... This is just massively underpowered, the Jaegerists right now. They don't stand a chance against this on their own, right? This can't be happening, right? We should have... Yeah. It hasn't even been a month yet. So, I guess they're confused as to how exactly they're able to do this after only a month, right? So there are two options, right? Either the answer is something we already know, which is that it's because Reiner pushed for them to do it, right? Or alternatively, this is hinting towards something we might not even know yet. Like, there's something that's happened that's allowed Marleyan to do this attack early that we're not aware of yet. Like, maybe Kiyomi secretly supplied them with some more weapons or something like that. I'm not saying that's what happened, but what I'm saying is the options are either it's something we already know about or it's something we don't know about. And if it's something we already know about, it's probably Reiner. And if it's something we don't already know about, it's probably also a force that we already know about, like Kiyomi. Anyway, if they keep this up, the Founding Titan will be eaten. Yep, Eren is losing badly at this point. And Porco goes to eat Eren. Eren can't even move to defend himself at this point, so Eren just sends up a bunch of spikes, which both Reiner and Porco avoid. So at this point, Eren can't even really defend himself. Whenever either of them get close, he's just sending up dozens, literally, like, I'm not even going to try to count these, but he sends up literally dozens of spikes just in a desperate attempt to defend himself from Porco and Reiner. So at this point, he's on his last legs. He's just doing everything he can to keep them away from him, even though it's probably wasting just tons of his energy. But again, Porco and Reiner are able to avoid it all, so it's not even doing damage to them. And then Pieck, boom, gets another shot through his head. Yep. I'll make that son of a bitch use his strength. The power of the Warhammer Titan is strong, but his energy will be spent quickly. Exactly. Don't forget, so this is a battle of attrition. Porco, Reiner, and Pieck and Magath are trying to make Eren use all of his energy, which is what they're doing, right? Every time they try to go for the nape, he uses a bunch of energy to create spikes. This is intentional. I interpret it less as, oh, Eren is a badass and is holding them off. and is holding all 3-4 of them off on his own, and Mora's they're deliberately doing this to force him to waste his energy, right? So, like, man, I've seen lots of people talking about how badass Eren is in this chapter, and I agree, it's amazing that he's able to do this well against so many opponents. He is probably the most badass individual Titan, right, out of all of them. But let's not overhype it, right? He is not doing well in this fight at all. He's doing the bare minimum that's just enough to allow him to survive for some time. But anyway, this ambush is only possible thanks to Willy Tiber's sacrifice. Just as he risked his life to tell us we need we need a true hero like Helos, a hero who will save the world. Ooh, now this is interesting. This is really interesting, and this kind of feeds into my hopes about where the story is going to go, right? We need a true hero like Helos. Helos, of course, being the hero who overcame the fascist Elgin Empire and overthrew them, in legend, that is. And Magath is saying we need a real-life version of that. We need a true hero like what Helos was in the stories, a hero who will save the world. And what have we seen of Helos? We saw that statue of him piercing a Titan's head with a spear. And what do we see? A hero who will save the world. And we cut to Eren and Reiner, with Reiner picking up a spear and stabbing Eren through the shoulder. And I will admit, I am a huge Reiner fan. He is my favourite character, right? And I see people saying, oh, Reiner's going to be eaten by Falco and Herod the Armantine, blah, 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 right? Here's what I want to happen, and what I think hopefully is being foreshadowed here, is that Reiner will be the hero that saves the world. He might not actually be the hero who saves the world. Eren will probably save the world, but the world will interpret it as Reiner's victory, right? Like, Eren will win in a way that makes it seem like Reiner's the one who won, if that makes sense. Like, Eren will activate some kind of plan that causes a lot of damage, but ultimately saves the world. And then Reiner comes in, defeats Eren as part of the plan, and then the world perceives Reiner as a hero. And then finally, Reiner will achieve his dream that he's had since childhood of being a hero. That's what he wanted. That's why he became a warrior. He wanted to be a hero who saved the world. That's been his character motivation when he was a child, right? And wouldn't it just be so amazing if Reiner was able to actually achieve that? And he was the one who became the new hero of legends. The armored titan, the shield of Marleyan. No, not the shield of Marleyan. The whole world's shield, the savior. Wouldn't that just be so amazing? I really, really hope that that's what happens, because I really love Reiner. I know a lot of people hate him, and I can sympathize with why people might hate him, but I love him, man. I really want him to just get something. He has done nothing but failures and sadness since he was a goddamn child. I want him to do something. I want him to achieve that dream of being a hero. Oh, man, I want it so bad. The one thing that both worries and makes me kind of excited is that Isayama made that statement saying, in the end, I might not be able to be a good person, or whatever it was he said. Basically saying that I might not be able to do what everyone wants me to do at the end of the story. I might not be able to make everyone happy, have everyone's favourite character survive and all that, right? I hope that Reiner is the hero. I'm just going to straight out say it. I don't think that Reiner's going to die and pass on his powers to Falco, because, I mean, Reiner's been around since the very beginning, like literally the first couple of chapters of the manga and the first couple of episodes in the anime. He's been around since the very beginning, literally. And he had an entire story arc, which is probably one of the most beloved, in fact, if not the most beloved story arc, perhaps just behind Return to Shiganshina, which he was the protagonist of. Let that sink in. Reiner was the protagonist of the story arc which many perceive to be the best story arc in the entire manga, and is the most popular story arc, second only to Return to Shiganshina, right? That's insane. And because of that, he's been around so long, he was the protagonist of his own super really well written story arc. I just can't imagine him just being killed off like that to pass on his powers like he's nothing, you know? Eren, it's over, you lost. And he stabs Eren through the shoulder. And it's true, right? Eren has been basically on the losing side of this battle since Porco got involved, right? He was already struggling against just Reiner. Then Parker got involved and grabbed him. He was forced to use his Warhammer powers to save himself. Then he got shot through the head, and then he's just wasting a bunch of energy to defend himself. And Reiner's right, like, yeah, Eren, it is over. Stop, like, you're done. You can't do this. And this is a really interesting speech from Reiner. And remember, there can be mistranslations, so take everything said here with a grain of salt. Eren, it's over. You lost. You don't have to make any more people suffer than you already have. You don't have to suffer more than you already have. And remember, this is really interesting of Reiner's character. Because remember what Reiner thinks. The last time Reiner met Eren, Eren said, Willy Tiber is right. I'm the bad guy. I might just destroy the world. And Marleyan believes, and the rest of the world believes, and everyone, except maybe the people of Paradise, maybe, believe that Eren's goal is to destroy the world using the rumbling, right? Keep that in mind. Reiner believes, as far as we're aware, that Eren wants to destroy the world with the rumbling, presumably out of some sort of revenge. And yet Reiner doesn't hate Eren. He doesn't hate Eren. He's like, Eren, you don't have to make more people suffer. You don't have to take your rage and your anger out on other people. But more importantly, you don't have to suffer anymore. He thinks that Eren wants to destroy the world, presumably out of revenge for what happened to him when he was a child and his hometown being destroyed, right? He's probably wrong, but that's what he believes to be the case, right? But he doesn't hate Eren for it. He's like, it's okay, Eren, I understand, right? You've suffered a lot, and you're taking your anger out on the people around you and making other people suffer. You don't have to make anyone else suffer anymore. You don't have to suffer anymore. And I just really appreciate Reiner for that. For not getting angry at Eren, for not thinking Eren is a monster. He understands Eren, or at least he thinks he does, and he sympathizes and empathizes with Eren, and just wants Eren to be able to rest, to sleep, and to not have to push on out of anger and revenge and all that. But then Eren roars, arg, and puts out more spikes, but these ones are just as ineffective. One pierces Reiner's arm, but he just knocks it off, he just removes it. In any case, you and I will die in a few years. No matter how much we struggle, he says. Everyone dies. And then we see Porco leaping down to get Eren. And Eren actually gets his first ever hit off on Porco, I believe, ever. In fact, no, yeah, this is the first time Eren has ever successfully hit Porco. Other than the spikes, but that doesn't really count. I'm talking like an actual punch, right? And to be fair to Porco, he did believe that Eren was unable to move, right? Eren wasn't able to move, he believed. And so he just and smacked Porco away with presumably just the last ounce of his strength. Yeah, and then Reiner just slams him down to the ground. What's left for you if you keep on living? I'll end it for you, Eren. Give up already. Just sleep. And I think, remember, a lot of people are like, oh, it's ironic that Reiner's saying this to Eren. Eren doesn't want to die. Eren wants to, but what you got to remember is what Reiner thinks Eren is. Not what Eren is, but what Reiner thinks Eren is. Reiner thinks that Eren is a man who wants to destroy humanity out of a rage, out of anger because of what happened to him when he was a child, right? He thinks that Eren is fighting to destroy his enemies because he wants revenge, he wants justice, right? And Reiner's like, look, I understand where you're coming from, but you don't have to make people suffer anymore. You don't have to continue suffering just for the sake of revenge. We all die in the end, right? No matter how much you struggle and fight, everyone dies in the end. Stop trying to fight this. Stop trying to defend yourself blindly with these spikes. It's over, right? You can't win now. You're out of energy. Your head's been shot through twice. You've lost. Just give up. Just relax. I'll end it for you, Eren. Just give up already. Just sleep. I really like Reiner in this moment. He is projecting probably his own depression and his own self-hatred onto Eren. He's perceiving, but I can't help but like Reiner in this moment a lot. And then Eren gives perhaps the most evil glare I've ever seen him give. I'm a bit confused as to what angle's going on here. I'm not sure whether Eren is looking up at Reiner, or alternatively, whether he's looking up at Reiner, or if the camera is angling down to get a look at his face. I'm not sure. I think it's the former, though. Also, Eren's naked, which I think is because, and this is just my theory, right? This isn't confirmed. This is just my theory. I think it's because he doesn't have experience with the Warhammer Titan, right? In this fight, he didn't create any weapons, he only created spikes, right? And he's lost all of his clothes. Now, what did we see of Eren back when he first became a Titan? He lost lots of his clothes. He lost his jacket, he loses, even in Return to Redemption, he loses his cape. Not being able to effectively use a Titan results in your clothes being damaged and removed. We've seen this. Plus, that famous shot, after first using the Warhammer Titan to escape prison, he lost his shirt, right, and had to get like a jacket or a new thing to wear, right? So I think the reason Eren is naked is because he doesn't have any experience with the Warhammer Titan, which is the same reason why he didn't create any weapons, right? He lost his clothes because he's not experienced transforming and using the Warhammer. That's just my theory. Anyway, and then he gives this evil look and he reaches up and grabs Reiner's head and begins ripping apart his jaw. And this is the thing that has loads of people intrigued and confused. This right here. Is Eren turning into his demon rage form that we saw all the way back in season 1, right? It's difficult to tell because on the one hand his teeth are definitely sharp and his eyes are completely blacked out, so we can't really see what the state of his eyes are, right? Whether they're like glowing or anything like that. They do draw attention to his roar being extremely loud. Even his own comrades are like, whoa, what's going on? And Gabby and I think Colt, or at the very least just a random soldier, are covering their ears. I think there's a very real possibility that Eren is genuinely going to like his demon rage mode right now. In which case, the story of this fight is basically Eren fights Reiner. Basically, there's two different ways you can interpret this, right? Let's say he is going into a demon rage mode right now. In which case, you can interpret it as Eren fights Reiner. Reiner is able to keep Eren on the defensive for the whole fight, basically. And then Porco comes up from behind, gets past all of Eren's defenses. The two of them beat Eren. Eren's forced to waste a bunch of energy using Warhammer Titan powers. Then he gets shot through the head. Eren's basically lost the fight, but he's continuing to defend himself and push on, through countless energy using spikes. Reiner's like, look, dude, you've lost, alright? You've lost, you can't win now, just give up. It's alright, I'll put you out of your misery. I'll give you a quick, painless death, right? And then Eren, as an absolute last resort, because it looks like it's intentional, looking at his face, activates this demonic rage power and just reaches up and begins ripping Reiner's jaw apart. And then Zeke throws the boulder potentially to save Reiner. Well, and then the other possibility is basically the same, but instead of Eren tapping into a rage power as a last resort, he's just like, no, I'm not gonna die. And perhaps even more badass, he just fights anyway. Even though he's been shot in the head twice, he still just reaches up and begins tearing Reiner's jaw apart, right? I don't know which one is accurate, but I'm just saying those are the two possibilities in my mind. As for Zeke throwing the boulder, it could either be to save Reiner or to save Eren. It depends. We don't really know what Zeke's mindset is at the moment, because Zeke seems to become a changed person after coming back to life, right? He lost his glasses, which is obviously meant to be symbolism of him changing, right? The glasses represented his connection to Zavar, or Xavier, however you pronounce it. I'm going to call it Xavier because that's how I've always pronounced it, even if it is inaccurate. He always talked to the glasses as if they were Xavier, right? He took off his glasses and talked to them. The glasses seemed to represent his connection to Xavier, his desire for the euthanasia plan, all that stuff. And he lost his glasses and committed suicide by blowing himself up, right? He died, the old him died, and he was reborn without his glasses, a new person, a changed person. At least that's how I interpret it. So Zeke could still be the exact same person, but I'm unsure. I think there's a very strong possibility that he is a changed person. He's a new person, maybe even has a new plan. He's definitely changed in some way, because there's so much symbolism. Other than just the literal rebirth, there's so much symbolism hinting towards the rebirth of his character, of his personality, as a changed person. But anyway, continuing on, Eren is like, what? And Reiner flies back. Eren looks over, shocked. Yelena, it looks like Yelena's tearing up. It might just be the light, but it does look like Yelena's tearing up. And Magast's like, there he is. There he is. The boy wonder. Reiner looks shocked. And Porco just looks like, ugh, he just looks annoyed by it. Like, it's this guy, huh? And then we see Beast Tide's most badass entrance in a long time. On top of the wall, I somehow finally arrived at our appointed meeting place, yet it seems I was a bit late. You heroically withstood them all by yourself, Eren. Now leave the rest to your big brother. How can you not like Zeke when he's saying stuff like that? He loves Eren so much. Like, how can people say that Zeke is an emotionless monster who doesn't care about anyone? Like, he cares, he loves his brother so much. And I really hope that Eren doesn't betray him. I really hope that he doesn't, because Zeke genuinely really loves Eren and cares about Eren so much. You can tell. Look how angry he is. He's just like, oh, you fucking with Eren, I'm gonna fuck you all up. Right? I love Zeke so much, man. And then Eren's expression here is really difficult to read. For me, it's difficult to read mainly because of how dark this scan is. Because generally speaking, the easiest way to read a person's emotions, especially in like Attack on Titan, is their eyes and the positioning of their eyebrows, right? But in this, because the scan is so dark, it's really difficult to tell what his expression is. Like, you know, sometimes characters, when they're worried, have like the dark lines. Like, they'll raise their eyebrows and have dark lines between their eyes and eyebrows to show that they're worried. And I can't tell if that's what's happening or whether, I don't know. Eren's expression is difficult to read. He looks shocked, relieved, maybe sad. It's difficult to read. I think I'm gonna wait until the official comes out. You know, another reunion, and again the fight is terribly fierce. But yeah, that was a solid chapter. I think the fans in general are giving Reiner and Porco nowhere near as much credit as they deserved. They were really wrecking Eren throughout most of that. Even Reiner on his own was doing really well against Eren. And then as soon as Porco got involved, Eren had lost, basically. And from that point on, it was just Eren trying to defend himself any way he could. Until eventually Zeke had to arrive and break the fight up, right? I think people aren't giving Reiner and Porco nearly as much credit as they deserve for this fight. And I'm super interested to see where the fight goes. Especially now that the Beast Titans arrive. Because there's so many directions now that Zeke is here that this fight could go in. I'm excited, man. And I have to wait a month. Thankfully, though, we've got the Attack on Titan anime, which so far, the adaptation, there are some red flags in regards to the animation, like CGI Colossal in the opening and stuff like that. There are some red flags. But overall, it's looking really nice, and I hope they keep it up. I hope they at least continue with the current level of quality, right? I hope they don't drop any further. I hope they at least continue with the current level of quality. But yeah, I'm excited for the next chapter. Also, actually, at one point before leaving, I've noticed that Zeke's, like, the ring around Zeke's eye is much larger than the ring around Eren's eye, right? I wonder if that's because, basically, it seems in my mind that the little lines and stuff represent their connection, their physical connection to the Titan, right? So I wonder if the reason the lines around Zeke's eyes are so much larger and more prominent is because his eyes are connected more efficiently and more carefully to the Beast Titan's eyes, because the Beast Titan requires such good eyesight. I mean, look at this. He directly hit... Reiner and Eren were right on top of each other, right? They were literally right on top of each other. And yet Zeke hits Reiner perfectly. Perfectly. You know, from that distance, right in the chest without hitting Eren. From that distance, from so far away that he would appear as nothing but a dot on the horizon. It's insane accuracy. And I'm excited to see the Beast Titan back in top form, because we haven't seen the Beast Titan really in top form since Return to Shiganshina, right? Since Season 3, Part 2. Because in the festival fights, he was basically just acting, right? He was pretending to fight. He was deliberately missing. He wasn't aiming well, and he was doing it on purpose because he was on the side of Paradise in that fight. And then every other fight up from then has been against Levi, which in and of itself is impressive. When you're the person chosen to be Levi's arch nemesis, that's impressive, even if you've never won against him. It's still impressive, just the sentiment of it. But now we finally get to see Zeke back in top form against people who he's actually able to fight against, instead of Levi, who is just ridiculously overpowered. That's not negative, by the way. I don't hate Levi like a lot of people. I'm just saying he is overpowered. Even the people who love him, like myself, acknowledge that he is an overpowered character. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there. I've kind of looked at the chapter. There's a lot of loose ends in a good way that could come back. Kiyomi and her airship that we haven't seen anything of. What exactly the Beast Titan's going to do. All the people who've ingested the wine. What exactly was going on with Eren there at the end. Are we just looking too much into it, or was it actually something? There's lots of stuff to talk about, but I think before I do like a proper like analysis of the chapter, I want to give it time to settle, you know, let some fan theories roll in, you know, join in the discussion a bit, really see where people's heads are at. So I think for now I'm gonna leave it there. This is a really solid, fun, awesome chapter. Isayama has been rolling out the amazing chapters for so long at this point, it's insane. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos from now on, hopefully. This is my first one. I should be posting more from now on. And I'm going to be trying to make them they're going to be more than this. This is basically just a review of a chapter. My main videos are going to be more along the sides of analysis and theories and stuff like that. So if you're a fan of Attack on Titan, I think you'll enjoy the videos I've got cooking up. So if you like Attack on Titan, please do consider subscribing, because I think you'll like my content. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you next time.